versus 9/11 because I'm a big political nerd. I always try to see what the messaging and when I look at 9/11, it was a giant tragedy, and I'm not gonna hold back. I'm not gonna judge anyone who was affected by that tragedy, who had someone who died during that tragedy. If every
Yeah,
year you want
absolutely.
to honor those people, I understand, homie. If you want to honor the firefighters that died that day trying to save lives, I understand you, homie.
Absolutely.
But at a certain
Absolutely.
point, when do we move on? Because there been a tragedy after tragedy. Look,
Mhm.
why isn't there like a Hurricane Katrina? Why isn't there a big focus on what happened to Hurricane Katrina every goddamn year? Why isn't
Mhm.
there a focus
Yeah.
on what happened in Flint, Michigan every goddamn year? So
Mhm.
once again, this is a tragedy, and if you're impacted by that tragedy, yeah, and celebrate that shit every year. But this is what driving me crazy. I'm gonna pull this on my screen up right now. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys seen this, and this guy, I'm very happy that my man Paul Krugman getting destroyed. And this is what the
Oh,
9/11.
thank you for bringing this
This
up.
is what
Yeah.
the 9/11 shit is pissing me off because you see liberals and you see the mainstream media, they use the 9/11 as a way to propagandize their people even more. So one thing that
Mhm.
What the
not
shit?
9/11 was such a devastating moment for American history because it gave our government permission to crack down on our
Yeah.
civil liberties. They've been, don't get me twisted. Don't get twisted. The government,
Mhm.
they've been waiting for an excuse. Like the
Yeah.
Patriot Act was a bill that Joe Biden helped wrote and that was on the shelf. They was waiting to roll this motherfucker out.
Mhm.
And then when 9/11 happened,
Exactly.
they gave them the excuse to do that. So now you got
Mhm.
people like Paul. This is why I don't get caught up in the whole we gotta never forget 9/11 shit. Because we got this motherfucker, Paul Krugman.
Mhm.
Overall, Americans took 9/11 pretty calmly. Notably, there wasn't a mass outbreak of anti-Muslim sentiment. What the fuck? Okay, and
This is
violence,
such bullshit.
which
Yeah.
could easily happen. And while George W. Bush was a terrible president, to his oh my, I can't finish that. Y'all can read that shit.
He tried to
So
call. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. So please,
oh
please
wait,
let Hamdia
yeah,
comment on that.
let me unmute. I just muted you just cause we have feedback. But I can unmute you here. What you thinking? What you thinking, Hamdia?
So I was like 3 years old living in a refugee camp when 9/11
Mhm.
happened.
Yeah.
I did not, I didn't even know about that day until I came to America. And the first, I learned about 9/11 after I was called a terrorist in this country. I didn't know
That's
why
sad.
people hated me for wearing a headscarf. I was literally a young girl. I did not know about any of the history of America because I wasn't born in this country and I was new to this country when I was called a terrorist the first time.
Meanwhile, Paul Krugman trying
Um,
to erase the fact that that happened to you. How disgusting is that?
yes,
He's trying to
Yeah.
yeah.
erase that.
So
Go ahead, Hamdia.
like literally I didn't even know what a terrorist was and I had to like search that up to even learn
Mhm.
what 9/11 and everything meant.
Mhm.
But I think that the rise of Islamophobia, like we've seen a lot of Muslims were impacted by 9/11. Muslims were in that building and they also lost their lives.
Yes.
Muslims
Mhm.
were attacked. There was a
Mm.
guy in Dallas, Texas, who a Pakistani guy who was Indian or Pakistani, I forgot. He was literally shot in his own convenience store. And when they asked the man who shot him, why did you do that? He was like, because I hate Middle Easterns due to what happened during 9/11.
Mm.
Muslims, literally, a lot of Muslims did not feel comfortable wearing a headscarf after 9/11.
Yeah.
With the rise of
That's so devastating.
Islamophobia, we've seen that Muslims are literally surveillance. Like we've seen laws that were implemented where there was a lot of surveillance in communities like New York, the Arab
Mhm.
community. They were surveillance when people are trying to travel to other countries, and if you're a
Mhm.
Muslim and you have a Muslim name, they
Mhm.
literally put you I don't know what
On the
it's called.
list.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, like there's a list and they interview you to see
Mhm.
like where are you going, what are you gonna do. So I was we came back from Kenya in 2012, and at the airport this guy from the what is it, like the immigration
TSA?
whatever, yeah, yeah, that he was like asking us, where did you guys go, do you have family members, do you have this, and I'm like, nigga, why you keep asking around that question, like what do you I was literally, you guys,
uh,
I was in ninth grade. Okay, I was in
yeah.
ninth grade, and I literally said, "Why are you keep asking us that?" And he's like, "Well, we just want to check." I'm like, "We went to Kenya to visit my grandmother, who we haven't seen. in so many years, and she recently passed away, but we went to go see her, so please just stop with all the questions. And then in London they were like asking about why like one of my family members, like their passport wasn't working or something. I'm like, you better check, because how did they get to London if their passport wasn't working? So it's like they always try to of course their passport was working, but it's like, you know, little things that they try to make excuses for to investigate people because they have a Muslim name. It's unfortunate, but 9/11, honestly, people need to understand that Muslims had nothing to do with 9/11. We
Yes.
didn't commit that shit. Like
So
in our religion, our faith teaches us that if you commit an act of violence and if you even kill someone, it's as if you killed everybody in the world.
yes.
That's like, and if you save someone, it's as if you saved everybody in the world. So please stop associating 9/11 with us, because we had nothing to do with it.
So
And it's unfortunate because I'm always like scared during 9/11, the day of it, because I don't know if people are gonna attack me. I really don't. Like, I get attacked every day, but for some reason I always like have this anxiety during the
I don't
day of
blame
like
you.
9/11.
Yeah, no,
I
absolutely.
don't blame you
Yeah,
at
I
all.
woke up to like I woke up to like racist people literally saying, "Go back to your country, do this."
Yeah.
I literally mentioned the fact that Muslims were affected by 9/11. They're like, "Why are you guys making it about you? Why are you making it about
I
yourself?"
saw
I'm like,
that. Oh my god.
Don't you know it's
Oh my
about white
gosh.
people?
Yeah. It was it
Yeah.
was all Italian men who died in the Twin Towers.
yeah, but that
Italian
guy
and
is
Irish
messed
people.
up. That guy is messed up for saying that the Islamophobia did not rise after
Oh.
9/11.
I'm
Oh
glad he
my
got
god! So
30,000
I
Had
was
he
an
been
adult
living under a
at the
rock,
time.
like,
So go ahead, Jackie.
I was your age, Hamdia, when 9/11
oh
happened.
wow,
So I can tell you firsthand, because I was into politics then as well. Yes,
yeah,
George W. Bush was a terrible president, but I remember specifically, I'm not Muslim, okay? But I remember the rise in anti-Muslim
Yeah.
hatred.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
absolutely.
off the charts. And I remember thinking, like, white people don't know who to hate more, black people or Muslims. And I didn't even think of black Muslims. Like, just don't even go out of your house.
Man, listen,
You know?
black people really got a break from like 2001 up forward, because
And it's
person.
Oh, what was that, Hamdia? What was that?
the thing is, they can't even differentiate between
they can't
Sikhs
differentiate
and
them.
Muslims.
Yeah.
Because Sikhs got a lot of hate too, and they're not even Muslim.
Oh, yeah,
But because
yeah.
they wear turbans, people assume that's the thing. Like yes, most Muslims have wear the headscarf, but not every the majority of the people who wear turbans are actually Sikh. They're not Muslims.
Yeah.
But they just associate that, and so many people were getting terrorized, and there are people who were Latino and black, just because their skin color kind of looked a little bit like it, they were getting terrorized, and it was not a good time to be a minority.
Meanwhile, he's trying to white rock. Like, that is like one of the most disgusting tweets I've seen in my. Like, he got 30,000 quote tweets on that shit. So like, I'm glad like people are dogging on his ass for that, and he deserves. That's one of the worst tweets I've seen ever. I'm not gonna lie.
That was a terrible take, because I remember when Bush wanted to go into Iraq, I was like, they didn't do 9/11. You're throwing a dart at the Middle East, and you're picking a Muslim country. They didn't do it. We knew back then. That's why when Joe Biden is like, we were trying to protect the country. No, you fucking weren't, because I was a kid. I was your age, and I knew that it wasn't Iraq.
Wow. Yeah.
500,000.
You already know why it was Iraq.
Sorry, what was that, Hamdia?
I said, from what I did, my research from last time, it said 500,000 Muslims lost their lives in Afghanistan, Iraq, and in Pakistan because of the war on terror.
That's the take I was about to have, actually.
No.
Because like,
did you guys see the video of the guy throwing a shoe at Bush? I was just thinking,
I love that shit.
What
do you know they made a monument to him?
Oh yeah.
To the shoe guy?
Yes. I love that.
The shoe.
To the shoe? That's funny.
To the shoe.
That was in Iraq, right?
That's wonderful.
That happened in Iraq.
I don't know where that happened. I couldn't tell you where it happened. But I do remember.
So
where he threw the shoe?
Yeah, everybody was talking about Bush, and I just remember that video, and I was so shook that someone actually threw a shoe at a president. Like, that was crazy.
Yeah, dude, it was wild.
Yeah, so
I think more
that's
people
my
need to throw shoes at presidents.
Yeah, that's my
It should
take.
become like normalized throwing shoes.
So
at
the monument,
Oh,
the monument is in Iraq. The monument
Nice.
where the shoe is in Iraq.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's
So
awesome.
I mean, that's something I wish 9/11 will turn into, at least for the left, or at least people who are more like-minded, who don't fall for the stupid ass MAGA talking points. Like, why can't 9/11 be about mourning the fallen Middle Eastern civilians that have been impacted by that? To me, that's as big as a tragedy. Yeah, I don't value one human life over another, but if you look at the amount of Middle
and you're not
Easterns
American.
If you look
so
at
far,
that,
you're not black and you're not American. What are you?
You ain't black.
Yeah, bro, you can't.
So it's like, I think that's something that we should acknowledge in 9/11. And when I reflect on 9/11, as a staunch anti-imperialist, I focus on the evils of the George Bush administration. I focus on the evils of Dick Cheney. I focus on the evil of the military-industrial complex, because I think 9/11, after a while, like I said, I mentioned earlier that if you know someone who died for 9/11, or if you want to honor the firefighters that gave their lives, that's valid. But I think as a left-wing movement, as a progressive movement, and as a culture, I think we should shift the focus on never forget 9/11. It should be a day of acknowledgement of the military-industrial complex, a mourning of all the Middle Eastern people who died because of the U.S. imperialism. So that's what I focus on. I haven't been doing a lot of tweets because I've been working. Go ahead, Jackie.
I don't like